Stay tuned. Your broadcast is about to begin.
Welcome to Bennigan's here for the high school football talk show. We'll be joined at 6 o'clock by head football coach Reno Suckott, 6:30 by Indian Creek's head coach Andrew Connor. At 7 o'clock will be Toronto's head football coach Josh Frankie, and at 8 o'clock, head football coach from Steubenville Central Eric Meek. We're going to start the show off with head football coach Reno Suckott from Steubenville Big Red. Coming off your first loss, coach, being at the game, I thought maybe had a couple mistakes, but I thought Lindsley up front was physical.
They're a good football team. Yeah. We had our chances. They had their chances. They took opportunities, and we just, we hurt ourselves. We had runs down inside the 2-yard line, called back, run down to the 3-yard line, called back. We had a nice slant pass early in the game, called back, and it's hard to make up those. It's hard to make up those yards.
I just thought physically they were the best. I've never seen a team physically the whole year, except maybe Dover, that they took your physicality and they just kept giving it back the whole game, because you would hit them and then they would come back and come right back at you.
Yeah, I think I really feel that as the game went on, they grew with confidence, but with the mistakes we made, our confidence got a little bit less. But it was a game exactly like last year in the beginning, and the year before in the beginning, and we have to take team's best shot, and we're not going to get anybody's B game. We're going to get everybody's A game, but and we take pride in that. That's something that our kids earn. You're not going to get anybody's B game when they come into Harding Stadium, and that's how that goes. And I thought we handled adversity very well. We fought down to the end. We got that fumble at the end, and then we gave it back. But it doesn't come down to one play. You can go back and 15. There's like 6 or 7 plays that could have went either way on both sides, and we had an interception in the end zone right before they scored their second touchdown. We had a tip right before they scored their first touchdown. And those close plays matter. Every play matters. Everything matters in a football game, and we just it was a perfect storm, but I just thought it was a good game, and if I said anything negative, then I wouldn't be giving Lindsley the credit they deserved, and they deserved credit for the way they played, but I don't think that our team played any less physical or any less enthusiastic than they did. They just it came down to a block extra point and a made extra point.
I tell people this all the time. You've been doing it for a long time. Do you have trouble sleeping at night when you play the game over in your head? Everybody tells me that I have trouble sleeping because I'm playing it over in my head. If I would have done this, if I would have done that.
I do that when we win. I mean,
Yeah.
When you win, you don't win by enough. When you win, it's. I don't think coaches ever take the positives out of a game, win or lose. You take when you win, you still think, well, what if I should have done this or I should have done that? And when you lose, I should have done this or I should have done that. But like I told our players, we'll see if we're competitors right now or if we're trick-or-treaters. And my bet is that we come back and play just as good as we've been playing, and but the key is eliminate mistakes, eliminate penalties. You're never going to eliminate anything, but we have to lessen both of those, mistakes and penalties.
Coach, how you did have some big plays called back. So what do you do as a staff and as a head coach in trying to correct these penalties that have killed you? I think the last 2 weeks you overcame them in Wheeling Park. but really beat you up against Lindsley.
Well, I think the only two penalties that I really got on the players about were the personal fouls. The two holding penalties could have went either way, and the players did what they were taught to do, and just went against us. But the two plays that concern me were the personal fouls, and we can't deal with personal fouls.
Yeah, I think the attitude always was, you make if you're going to make a mistake, you want it to be an aggressive mistake. I think kids take that to another level, and it did hurt you in the game. Like I said, in overcoming them. What do you preach to them? I mean, how showing them on film is one thing. What else can you do?
Well, you're forcing me to say stuff I don't want to say, but on the holding penalties, if I thought they were holding penalties, I'd be upset about them. But I'm not upset about them because I think when an offensive lineman's moving his hands and moving his hands and moving his hands, that usually an official doesn't call it. But I'm not going to talk about the penalties anymore, so don't ask.
Well,
I only asked you because you said go ahead and ask whatever you want to ask.
Okay, now I'm saying I'm not going to answer it.
Well, getting back to the game, offensively, I thought you did it. You played a lot of. Was it the plan going into the game to play both backs like you did? I know in the second half, I know that 24 got a lot of carries to start the second half.
Well, usually you like to number the carries at a tailback. I told you before I learned that lesson by Spencer. Spencer can't carry the ball 20 times and play 45 plays defensively. I don't want him to do that. But I just think there's some time where sometimes when you get a fresh kid in there, you can tell the difference in the speed between Falks and Bo. And Bo's a good runner, and Falk's a good runner in a different way. So, but Sims took the ball down to the 2-yard line also on a nice bounce play. So, Coach, I think Coach Witt does a really good job of alternating the tailbacks and fullbacks, and especially the fullbacks because all four of them start on defense. So you have to be. We just try to be smart in when we're playing who.
Who'd you say, Coach? Sims?
I said Tyleek Sims had a good run too.
Oh yeah. Tyleek. Okay, I forgot him because I was impressed. I've always liked this Falks from the beginning, and I was really impressed with the way.
He's a lot stronger and more physical than people give him credit for. But
I agree, and he's elusive.
Yep.
My question to you defensively, I don't know, maybe I could have been seeing wrong.
Yeah.
I'm a baseball guy watching football. Did you change your defense in the second half?
No.
You didn't? Because it looked like you might have went to a different defense.
No, we played the same defense, different coverages.
Okay, that's what I couldn't tell if you went to a different, because when they were throwing the football in the flat, I didn't know if you changed it at halftime. It looked a little bit different in the second half.
Yeah, we went some different coverages at halftime, but I think Coach Phil's, he does a good job. The kids just RPOs are tough, and that's what we have to work on. That they've heard us 2 weeks in a row on RPOs, and we've spent a lot of time with that this week, and we'll spend a lot of time with it the rest of the year because it's not going to get any easier. The good teams that run RPOs are going to run it good because they're winning, and the good teams that run the ball are going to run it good because they're winning. So, we have to be diversified in our defense and be able to – you're not going to stop both.
Yep.
They only rushed for 31 yards Friday night. Yeah. But, you go by yards and all that stuff. I mean, we had over 440 yards. They had 249 yards, but that doesn't mean anything. The score was 28-27, and they played a great game, and hats off to them. Hats off to their coach and their players. And it was a really good game, and every year we played them, it got closer and closer. So, we can't do anything about it till next year.
I thought the effort, your kids' effort was there the whole game.
It was there. I mean, as bad as everything went, we still had the ball with 1 minute and 32 seconds to go, first down.
Yeah.
And, I had a guy ask me, why do you take a knee 3 times?
They had 3 timeouts.
I just had to laugh. But, we ran the play. We were running best the whole day. Our counter.
Yeah. That's why I like being on the field, so I don't have to I don't have to hear the coaches in the stands, that get every answer and everything like this,
Well, I like the coach in the stands. I'd rather be at a place that they care than a place where we lost. We'll get them next week, or I just feel that that the job I have is the best job in the Valley. I'm proud to be part of it, and I don't think that this team is going to be one game's not going to define it, and maybe 2 losses or 3 losses will define them. But right now, one loss will not define the way this team's going to be. And, we didn't do very good yesterday. We didn't do very good today. So maybe we'll have a better day tomorrow.
Coach, you've been going seems like you made up your mind that you're going to go for it on 4th down. Was that predetermined on the pass to Hill down the sideline?
No,
that one 4th down play, or was that just –
just
just something you saw from the box and signaled down, and
we just we're really gonna take the delay game and punt, but then we took the delay game, and then we just when we saw the matchup, we just felt that it was a positive for us, so we took a shot at it. And when you're not stopping a team, what's the difference between getting the ball on the 40-yard line or the other 40-yard line? Just it's a 2 first down difference, so. We went for it, and our defense has been playing good all year. And I think that your 4th down and short is determined on how the defense is playing. But so far this year, we just feel that 4th down and less than a yard that we have a very good chance of getting it. Well, in fact, we were 4 for 4 the week before, and we were 3 for 3 this past week. So we're doing a lot better on 4th down than we normally did.
I like it. I like the idea. I even hear NFL coaches say it. Analytics.
Ours is in analytics.
I know. But they say, well, why don't you punt? Well, there's other teams that don't punt. I watched the Baltimore Ravens at the 5-yard line Sunday. Could have kicked the field goal to take the lead.
But you know what though? Yeah. In defense of him, everybody's getting on him. When he went for that, it was 4th down. The ball was inside the 2.
Correct.
It was a ball's length inside the 2, and if they didn't make it, he figures they got to drive 98 yards. And the ball was in his best player's hands, who thought he was going to throw an interception and get the ball on the 20.
Yeah.
Now, 1st down on the 20 is a lot different than 1st down inside the 2, But so I'm saying his thinking was, if we don't make it, they got to go 99 and a half yards. He didn't. Now, if he knew the ball was going to be on the 20, he probably would have taken a field goal, But it's the game plan changes when you're on your own yard and a half line. You're on the 20-yard line. You have an open playbook on 1st down. On the 2-yard line, you don't have an open playbook. So, and I'm not defending because I really don't care. I don't give 2 craps about the Baltimore Ravens or whoever. I don't even know who they were playing. But I'm just saying that his thinking process was, they got to go 99 and a half yards compared to 80 yards.
Is it a thing when we talk about punting the football? I like the idea of going for it. A lot of people say, well, punt the football there. If you're having trouble stopping a team, was that the thing that was going through your mind at the time? Well, if I punt it, they get it, they're going to score. And I think they would have went up 2 scores, if I'm not mistaken, at that time.
It was 14-13. At that time, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think they were winning by 1 from the block extra points. I figure if you give them the ball back, they get another touchdown, they're up 8.
Yeah, that's not 2 scores. That's 1
Well,
score.
You can go for 2.
Yeah.
You can go for 2, yeah.
If it was probably 2 scores, I probably still would have went for it.
Yeah.
But I just it's all matchups. I mean, it's a matchup, and those two have been throwing and catching good together. And but like I said, I mean, it all takes a little tip. And but
I thought the game Friday night was a great game.
It was a great game.
It was awesome to be there.
It was a good game.
I thought both teams played
hard. There's things could have went different, but it was a good game, and that's what makes a good game when things can go either way, and just.
Well, it's not the end of the.
How are we going to react to it? That's the key. That's the key. How are we going to react to it Friday? We're still in first place on our region. Yeah. We still have the same goals that we had before that game. We still have the same goals after that game. It's just that you don't play a game to lose.
Yes.
and but winning's hard, losing's twice as hard. But I refuse to pout about it. I just refuse to let our players pout about it, and I refuse to let the people that are involved to help us win pout about it. We'll just come back and we'll work harder and see what goes. Now, if we lose this week, then we got a problem.
Yeah.
But right now, we're 6-1, and our players are playing good. We're healthy, and that's the name of that too. We're in a lot better shape after 7 games than we've been the last couple of years. So our health is good, and that's what I want to keep. And we just want to keep playing kids and keep our depth going, and hope that we just rise to the occasion on Friday. But I'm not going to let our players pout, and I'm not going to pout about. I don't think our players played to lose.
How's the practices been this week, Coach?
Bad, but that's okay. It takes them a while. It takes them a while. If we had great practices, I just want them to learn from it. I think that Nick Saban said it the best: "Don't waste a loss," and learn from it. And if we have kids that like to compete, then they'll accept the challenge this Friday. If we have kids that don't want to compete, then we'll have the same outcome as we had last week. But I just won't deny Lindsley from their big win, and hats off to them. And I told the coach after the game, good luck and good game, and that's it.
I get it. We'll take our first break here with coach from Steubenville High School, Reno Suckhawks. We'll talk about next week's opponent when we come back.
Got a sidewalk that needs replaced, or maybe your roof is leaking? How about some new windows? Who do you call? Fort Steuben Maintenance, that's who. Commercial or residential, they can handle most any project, big or small. They also do new construction and renovations. So get a free estimate by calling Fort Steuben Maintenance today and get them started on your next project. 740-283-4890 for Fort Steuben Maintenance.
This high school event is brought to you by AT&T on Sunset via the AT&T wireless network. Remember, don't text and drive, it can wait. AT&T on Sunset is a proud sponsor of this high school event.
The game is over, but this time, instead of asking how many goals did you score or what were your stats, try asking these questions. Were you a good teammate? Were you coachable? Did you give 100%? And did you have fun? Because those are the values that school sports instill in Ohio's young people, where winning and losing are secondary to the life lessons that will stay with kids long after their playing days are over. This is the Ohio High School Athletic Association. Educate through sports.
Thanks, Fort Steuben Maintenance, for sponsoring Big Red head football coach Reno Suckhawk on the Ohio Valley Sports Online Coaches Show.
I can't believe we have to make this commercial.
It's ridiculous.
You'll think it's ridiculous too. Listen to this.
This commercial is about, it's about parents being rude at high school athletic events.
Ridiculous, right?
It gets worse. Studies show more than 75% of new high school officials are quitting because of bad adult behavior.
So now there's a shortage of refs here in Ohio, in almost all sports.
No officials means no more games.
Is that what you want for us?
Come on, parents.
It's time to grow up.
Cheer for your team.
Be proud of your children.
But stop being so ridiculous.
And don't make us run another commercial.
Because we will.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
You know, Fort Steuben Maintenance should be your first choice when it comes to any and all construction projects, whether it's commercial or residential. Make Fort Steuben Maintenance your first call. You can rely on them to be the experts when it comes to roofing, concrete, plumbing, carpentry, just about any job that needs done. Fort Steuben Maintenance, they're fully licensed and bonded and will even give you a free estimate. Fort Steuben Maintenance. You want the number? 740-283-4890.
This is Ohio Valley Sports Online, your connection to Ohio Valley sports. Listen anywhere in the world from any connected device, smartphone, tablets, iPads, and computers. Ohio Valley Sports Online brings you live game action from the guys with over 50 years in radio sports broadcasting.
All right. All right, we're back here at Bennigan's. We're with Coach Suckotch. So you can put your headset on there, Coach. We'll take your time.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, this week's opponent is from PA, Tyler Alderdice, coming in at 2-4. You have a familiar opponent on the schedule. You both have played Dover. 19-6 they lost to them, and you beat Dover 29-13. I know that doesn't mean nothing.
No.
Tell us a little bit about Tyler Alderdice. I know you said
it's
they
Taylor Alderdice.
Taylor? Okay.
Let me tell you, when Dr. Keenan became superintendent of Big Red, he put the honors program in. And the school that had the best honors program in the country was Taylor Alderdice back in the late 70s and early 80s. And so that's when I first got introduced to them. And then second, I've known Jerry Haslett, their coach, since we used to go to Steeler practice. His brother was coach of the Steelers at that time. And they have talent. They have talent. But when you play a school like that, you know, you're playing against a school with 2 or 3 coaches. And so those kids aren't getting they're not getting top-notch coaching from 4 or 5 or 6 guys. I mean, he's coaching the line, he's coaching the backs, you know, and they do a really good job, and you'll see some really good talent on the field. And just hopefully, you know, they don't put it all together against us.
What are they going to give you problems with when they're on offense?
Their quarterback's a big kid, left-hander, and number 8's their favorite receiver. When you chart their passing, usually when you chart passing, you see maybe a little bit more in the flat, or a little bit more between 10 and 15 yards, or a little bit more over to 15 yards. Their chart is all over the field. I mean, they have good speed, and what we're really going to have to take advantage of is we need a better pass rush. We can't we're trying to get the quarterback with 3 so we can keep guys in the secondary, and but we got to do whatever we got to do to get a pass rush on him, because if we let that quarterback sit there, he's going to complete passes. Their tailback. Their tailback's a good tailback. They were 19-6 against Dover, and he had a couple runs over 60 yards, and he's a good running back. But the key to our game Friday is for us to maintain ball control, score when we have it, and play solid defense. We just got to play a solid football game, and I think that'll help us come back from the ancient depths of Creed, you know. So. It's a process, and you know, and I'm glad our kids are a little bit down and out, and I think that's good for you sometimes. Not that losses are good for you, but if you learn from the loss, then it ends up being good for you. If you waste it, then it's wasted. So right now, I'm just hoping that we come back. And as the game goes on, we pick up momentum and start to get something back that we had. And it's not that, you know, I mean, we're 6-1, and the world didn't end. I mean, it's close. You know, all those dinosaurs are gone. It's close to being ending, but it's not the end. And hopefully we have a good positive day tomorrow, a good positive day Friday in the classroom, and just Friday at 7 o'clock. Hopefully, we're ready to play. Taylor Alderdice defensively is a 3-4 team like we are. They do a little bit more man-to-man than we do, and our receivers are going to have to, get some wiggle room in there and get open. And I think Phaeton will do a really good job at the play-action pass. He's doing a really good job of faking and holding those linebackers. And I'm just hoping that we can get back to normal, really reality. That nobody's going to come to Harding Stadium and roll over and play dead for you.
Well, I like your attitude going back into it. You know, you're ready. It seems like your kids are ready to go. Get a good practice tomorrow, and ready to go and get back on the win streak. Like you said, it's not the end of the world. All your goals are in line. You know, there's teams that have won a state title with a loss. You know, you tell people that sometimes, and they laugh at you. You know, but teams have lost before and won a state title. But your goals are still there. I know your goals is to have 2 home football playoff games.
Our goals right now are to have 2 home games and win our region. Yeah. And I'm not going any further than that. That's our goal. That's the goal we set at the beginning of the year. Not that we're going to go undefeated, unscored upon, untied. Only one team in Big Red history ever did that, and it's not going to get matched. 1930, it ain't going to happen again. I don't know if anybody in the country is going to go undefeated, untied, unscored upon with the way I think coaching's so much better now. Yeah. There's more coaches. There's more different types of offense now than there's ever been. I mean, in high school, you go from a spread to a wing tee the next week to a power I. I mean, it's you know, if you look at the pros, they're all about running the same thing. If you look in major college, they're all running the same thing. That's why they have trouble when they play Navy, Army, and Air Force, because they're not doing the same thing. But in high school, you get something different every week. Like we opened up the season with shotgun, wildcat, wing tee. Yeah. I mean, you know, and then a little different wing tee with Dover, who never ran that before. Yeah. You know, you have to be ready for something every week. And this team does a good job of running and passing, and that's going to be a great challenge for us. And if we do our job and the seniors do their job and everybody else follows, then I think that the success will be ours.
Well, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I just think the sky is falling attitude that Big Red seems to have. I think that comes as a compliment to the tradition that, you know, you and all the teams before this have built. And I think that's how Big Red fans react. But I know personally how Big Red kids react. And I'm very confident that they're going to bounce back.
So am I.
And get themselves ready to go and move forward. You know, sure, you know, they're down, and I know you don't want them pouting, but, you know, they feel sorry for themselves a little bit. But then reality check comes, you know, you got to play the next game. But I think the whole sky is falling attitude is just a credit to the tradition of Big Red football.
Well, tomorrow,
I think it's like that in all sports.
Tomorrow before practice, we will spit a few times to get that taste out of our mouth and hope we don't get it again. And, you know, everybody laughs at me when I say that, but it's a bad taste. And it's a bad taste. And if we don't want it, if we don't want that, I mean, I want that taste in our mouth all week. And, you know, we'll get rid of it tomorrow. But
well, you got to worry about the team because, you know, just now, you know, you're saying this team is a dual threat. They're going to run the ball and they're going to pass the ball. And that's a challenge. And you can't spend any time worrying, you know, more than past Tuesday, worrying about what happened last week. So, you know, I'm confident in the players that Steubenville High School has and the quality of the kids.
Actually, I was getting over it. I was getting on with it Monday, and then I came here and you guys started beating me up.
Well, that's Billy Ellis. Billy Ellis was going, I don't know, man.
You know, I love Billy, but he has a baseball mentality, and that baseball mentality is a lot different than football in regards to, you know, you lose on Monday, you're playing again on Tuesday. You might be playing again Monday, second game. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So you can't compare. You can't waste any time in baseball. Baseball, you got to get to the next game.
Yeah.
And period. And well, we got to get to the next game too, but it's 7 days away. You know.
Well, I think that's why you're a great coach. You know, you can get your kids ready. You've been doing it forever, and you've been winning football games. I mean.
Yeah, but we'll see.
You don't take a lot of credit for it, but people don't give you credit for it.
But Billy, greatness is until the end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can fall on your face the next day, and that's how I feel about it. You know, you can win, and then all of a sudden,
boom,
you get hit by a car and you're dead. You know, so you died a winner. But you know, I don't plan on dying tomorrow. I hope, but winning's never final, and until you retire or whatever, then you can enjoy it. But as it's going on, you don't enjoy it. That's why coaches or people to do something for so many years have a tough time when they're not doing it anymore. I don't care if you're a head coach or an assistant coach. you miss it. And I remember me and Coach Piro used to say, would you rather be going out to this game at 7 o'clock or going out working midnight in the mill? And I'd rather be going competing on the field than going to the Coke plant and busting lids like we did before.
Yeah, well, I personally, I'm enough removed from it now where I think I've grown to the fact of I couldn't sit in the stands and listen to all the coaching going on, but I'm at the point now, I mean, it's like HBO. I mean, like it's literally entertainment for me to listen to all the coaching going on in the stands, and I enjoy it. You know, it's easy. It's easy coaching from Section B, Row R. I mean,
well, the first letter I opened today that was unsigned, and I like to hang them up, you know, and read them every once in a while. But it said that we didn't want you 40 years ago when you got the job, but still don't want you. So,
we all three.
So at least I know that person's at least 40 years old, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, there was a woman sitting behind me at the game when you threw that bomb on 4th down. Prior to that, she was screaming, "I know you want to lose this game, Reno." I said, "Okay."
Yeah, that's okay.
I mean, I thought it was Jason Jenkins.
I know this. I tell people this all the time. They don't know how much time you guys put in, what you have to do. You know, you're taken away from your families on Saturday mornings. You get there at 6 in the morning. I don't know what time you leave, 6, 7.
No, it don't matter.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. That's
we just got to be ready Friday, Bill.
Yeah.
You know that. I mean, you've been competing your whole life.
Yeah.
We got to be ready Friday. This game was over at 10 o'clock, and you weren't going to change it. You can pout about it, and believe me, you know, I pouted about it for a while, but you know, credit to Lindsley. I mean, they came here. They came ready to play.
Absolutely.
The fans were ready to. You know, it was but it was a. You know, everybody said we played so bad. It was a great game till a minute and 32 seconds ago in the game, and I don't apologize to nobody for that.
No, that's right. Absolutely.
Just, you know, if we lose Friday, then I ought to get shot. But this Friday, you know, we got to bounce back. And what's the name of that tune?
Well, you will. We'll let you go, Coach. I know you're going to bounce back Friday. It's just the Big Red way, you know. So you'll figure a way Friday.
But I appreciate you guys having me on this radio show, and I appreciate the free
and video, radio and video.
It's video too. I appreciate the chicken dinner that I got, and I'm really looking forward to coming here next Wednesday, you know, right after practice, and have to come here and talk with you guys, and so I'm looking forward to all that. And I hope we're laughing Friday like we are today. Roll Red.
All right, Coach. We'll see you. Good luck Friday. We'll be right back with Indian Creek's head coach, Andrew Connor. All right, Coach. Good luck.
Thanks a lot for following us at Ohio Valley Sports Online. Why not visit our webpage at ohiovalleysportsonline.com? It's the way to go for sports fans around the globe to follow your favorite local sports teams.
How do you define strength? Is it physical? Or is it mental? Maybe it's both. Maybe it's whatever empowers a person to dig deeper, fight harder, and overcome obstacles that once seemed insurmountable. Discover how much stronger and more confident your children can be. Encourage them to participate in a sport when they go to high school.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Everhart Bove Funeral Home, they believe you should take care of your loved ones while you still can. Pre-planning at Everhart Bove ensures that your family won't have to worry about the stress of final arrangements during this most difficult time. More importantly, they won't have to worry about how they'll pay for it. Visit Everhart Bove Funeral Home today and discover all the affordable options available. Everhart Bove Funeral Home, Wintersville, Richmond, and Burgolds.
This is Ohio Valley Sports Online, your connection to Ohio Valley sports. Listen anywhere in the world from any connected device, smartphone, tablets, iPads, and computers. Ohio Valley Sports Online brings you live game action from the guys with over 50 years in radio sports broadcasting.
Everhart Bove Funeral Home, they believe you should take care of your loved ones while you still can. Pre-planning at Everhart Bove ensures that your family won't have to worry about the stress of final arrangements during this most difficult time. More importantly, they won't have to worry about how they'll pay for it. Visit Everhart Bove Funeral Home today and discover all the affordable options available. Everhart Bove Funeral Home, Wintersville, Richmond, and Burgle.
Meet Josh.
Hi, everybody.
Josh is a high school basketball player, solid shooter, great teammate.
Hey, don't forget my tenacious D.
And he's my son.
Uh-huh.
So, what does Josh do to be the best basketball player he can be?
I play tennis.
Studies show that student athletes here in Ohio who play more than one high school sport are more likely to excel. Tennis does more than improve Josh's conditioning. It gives him a fresh competitive outlet, reduces the risk of injury by cross-training, and introduces him to different coaching techniques and new friends.
Don't get me wrong, hoops are my first love. Tennis just gives me a little break.
So when the new season begins, Josh isn't burned out on basketball. He's eager to play, and you can see the difference in his game.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Welcome back to Bennigan's. We're here with head football coach from Indian Creek, Andrew Connor. His spot is being sponsored by Everhart Bove Funeral Home. Andrew, you were right there again. I think it was 5-6 minutes left in the game. You're winning the football game. Tell us a little bit how it went down.
Well, I mean, the first thing you ask your kids to play hard for 48 minutes. And, again, my kids couldn't have played any harder for us. It was kind of one of those games. We went back and forth. Close game at halftime. It was 8-0 them at half. We came out right away in the second half, got a turnover, went down, we scored. 3 and out of them, went down and scored. Now we're ahead, and it kind of just went back and forth. And, they made one more big play than we did late in the game, and they were able to score to go ahead. And we had an opportunity in the end to try to drive down, and we just couldn't make another big play. And but it wasn't for lack of effort. And like I said, I think our kids did everything we asked. They played hard. They played aggressive. I thought, we played very physical. We just gave up big plays. It's been the story of our defense. We gave up, a long run for one of their scores. We gave up a screen pass for one of their scores. I thought overall when we had to make plays offensively, I thought our offensive line gave us a great push. And I thought, defensively on most of the plays, we were holding them to, very little yardage. I think we had 3 or 4 3 and outs. I thought we did a good job turning the field for our offense. It's just big plays, man. Big plays did us in.
Well, getting to that, say you young group, how do you keep the spirits up after a game like that, I mean, I know it's tough, and it's not, as a head coach, I asked Reno the same thing, how do you overcome something like that when you lose and your kids played their butts off, and then now you got to go in the locker room and talk to them?
I'll tell you what, sometimes as a head football coach, you deal with, something a little bit bigger than whatever sport you're coaching, and, after we lost, the kids go off the field, and I always wait to make sure nothing happens, so I'm the last one in the locker room. I go in that locker room, man, the emotion of our kids and, just the disappointment, the raw feeling and disappointment, it crushes you as a coach at that moment. So in the short-term part of it, my heart broke for them because they deserve better. And I told them they deserve better than they got there. But, coming back up on the bus, I thought to myself, here we are. We're in week 7. We've lost, 6 games this year. We haven't won since week 2, and to see that kind of emotion, that much poured into them, that makes you feel proud as a football coach. I told the kids on Saturday morning, there are a lot of things that you'll remember when things are going well, and you get a big play or a big win, and people are excited about it. But when things are going tough for you, and you realize that it's kind of like you against everybody else, to go in that locker room and look around that room, and even to see kids who didn't get in the game, freshmen who didn't get in. In tears and upset. I know we're heading in the right direction. I know maybe other people don't think that, and maybe our record doesn't show it, but our effort and how hard we play and how hard the coaches are coaching, makes me proud as head football coach. It's easy to be a head football coach when you're winning. It's tougher when you're going through this. And, if character is revealed in those type of moments, our character was revealed in a very positive light in that locker room on Friday night.
Well, that's beautiful that you could say that, Andrew, because week after week we talk, and you're trying to get over that hump, and your kids are playing for you. You get a break here and there. You win a couple games, and plain fact is, Andrew, you ain't getting no pity. So the only ones that care, or nor do you want any. So the only one that cares or matters are your coaches and your players. And I'm pulling for you, Andrew. I mean, I get a chance to talk to you every week, and your kids are growing. And I know that means very little to most people, but if your kids care like they do, and your coaches care, and the parents care, most of them, I think some parents are just different. I think that's a win in itself, and I'm pulling for you. I hope you could turn it around.
Well, like I said, our biggest thing is, we ask our kids to represent, the colors, to represent the red and gold. And, like I said, I had nothing but, respect for how hard they played. And like I said, if we could have just made one more play here or there. I mean, we were close. I mean, and to be this far into the season and go through the kind of season we had, to still see your kids fighting and scratching and playing hard and listening and trying their best. They hear us holler, different things we want done, and they do it. There's no questioning. There's no, we got a better way, or we're not going to do that. They do everything we ask. And, as a head football coach, I've been doing this for 20 years now. I've been lucky, and I've said this before, I know that, winning is the ultimate thing that every coach wants, and I do too. But to see your kids buy into something and to see them, no matter what, keep that goal, the ultimate goal, which is to stay together, play together, fight for each other, that means a lot to me. And, they've done a good job with that. And even this week at practice, man, we went right back at it, practice hard. No one's missing practice. No one's coming up with excuses. I mean, they're doing their best. And, to me, that's what it's all about. I mean, when you're in this long, it's more about watching them grow. And I've seen a lot of growth in that football team this year and how hard they've worked, how much they want to learn about football, how many good questions they ask. It's things you don't see. All they see is the end result sometimes. People, when they come to the game, and the end result is, we didn't win. But I'm telling you, the amount of football they've learned from game 1 through game 7 has been remarkable. And I know it's going to help them down the road.
Well, Ohio Valley Sports Online, just remember this. Every Wednesday you could come here and get something to eat at least. You know what I mean? I mean, Jason eats steak. Reno eats chicken. Billy Ellis eats filet mignon. He brings his wife. I had the hamburger. You get French fries. You know what I mean? So
I have a cheeseburger every week. My wife pays for her own meal, so I don't take
tight budget over here, Andrew. Tight budget.
I tell you what. Well, Andrew, I like it how you talk about your kids being in it, getting back to the game. When you get down 8-0, a 1-5 football team, usually sometimes you don't see that's it. We're done. You sound like at halftime you came right back out, scored a touchdown, got the ball back. That just tells you that your kids are still in it. Because most teams that are 1-5 are thinking, oh shit, that's it, we're done. Let's just pack it in. Let's get to the next week.
I agree. I agree with that, Billy. I mean, your kids. I mean, like you're in every game. You're not getting blown out. Have you gotten blown out? I don't think you've gotten blown out. You're there 1 or 2 plays or turning the tide, and you're having good practices. You know what I mean? So, the character, you talk about character and stuff like that. That's all going to pay off, but this is the worst time of the year, and I just want to – I don't have to encourage you. You're older than me, so
Jesus, he's on a roll, buddy.
I don't have to encourage you. You're older than me.
Shut him up, Aaron. He's on a roll.
Hey, you know what? I may feel older than you.
It's a lot easier, Andrew, when you get out. You can sit here and, just do this.
Critique.
I appreciate that.
You see what I mean?
I appreciate that.
Jason over there with a full belly.
Yeah.
Like I said, the biggest thing for us right now is, getting quality reps, playing hard, and making sure that, our on-field product is the same product that I see every time at practice. And they've done that. And, to me, it's hard to quantify sometimes, what you're measuring. And if all you're measuring, like I said, which I know to the outside person, they're measuring our wins and losses. And I don't want to sound like, I'm content with just playing well and moral victories. But, at this point in time, I want our kids to show that no matter what, we're able to handle adversity, because there's going to be a point where we draw back to some of these games, I hope in our future, and we learn that we didn't give up then and we're never going to do it. And I think when you ask, a bunch of sophomores and freshmen to play on a Friday night, that's what they're learning. I mean, they're not learning at the level, on Saturday mornings where they would be playing. They're playing on Friday nights. And, I think that valuable experience and how hard they're playing, and just like I said, the questions, their feelings, their attitude has just been so positive. And, again, it's made it a lot easier for me because this could have been something where, at any point this could have derailed, and it hasn't. And
I think right there what you said, Andrew, I think that's I think we're overlooking that because your freshmen and sophomores up front, and that's a big, big challenge. And for you to sit down and say that they are competing and they are giving you everything they got, people can't lose sight of that. I mean, you're a young football team, and in our day, it was unheard of for freshmen and sophomores to play. But that's the cards you've been dealt, and I'm just glad that your enthusiasm with your kids and your coaching staff has stayed up.
Like I said, if you just saw us play, I mean, and I'm not taking that away from Martins Ferry. They played well and they played hard, and Coach Kropka does a good job, and obviously I played for Coach Bain, and any staff that he's on, he's going to make it a 1,000 times better. But I thought our kids not only competed, I thought at times, we were the more physical football team. I thought we really kind of took strides to play football. I just think sometimes we either got boxed in by something that we didn't do as well as we could have, or sometimes they just had, an older offensive line that maybe at the end, that second half kind of wore us down a little bit, but it was not for lack of hitting or lack of effort. And if you watch the enthusiasm of our sideline, and even, and the other thing I wanted to say is, our parents in the behind me, I can hear them cheering on the kids. I mean, and like I've told them before, you can believe whatever you want about me, but always make sure you realize those kids are giving you everything they got on Friday night. And that's important too. And I think everybody's kind of stuck together on this, and you could see that we are close. And I know I've said that a million times this year, but I really do feel like, we're just inches away on plays from it going from us getting a stop to us giving up, that big play touchdown. And that's how close we are. And if you go back and you watch film, you see that, the screenplay, we're so close to defending it the right way. Or we come on a stunt and we just miss the guy. Or, there's a run where we just don't make the cut is there, but we don't make the full cut. We're very, very close. And again, it's not for lack of effort. I'm very, very proud of our kids and how hard they compete.
Well, see, when I pick up the newspaper and I'm reading that, and I read your article, and I say to myself, what was it, tied with 6 minutes to go? Was it something like that? Because I'm saying to myself, my God, again, they just can't get over that hump.
We got the ball back and we were down, and I really felt that when we got the ball back, we were going to go in and score, and just it didn't work out that way. And like I said, we had a chance down there to hold them when we were winning. They had a 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7. We were so close to maybe getting that goal line stand. Our kids were competing so hard, and you could hear it even behind us when they scored. To me, right there, with 5 minutes to go, they score. That would have been an easy thing for us to say, you know what, we checked out. We played hard. We gave it our best shot. We came from behind a couple times where it's not meant, and they didn't do that. I heard them cheering from behind. We got the ball. Our kids were pushing the pile. I mean, we competed till the very end, the very last play. And that, I told the kids, that's all I can ask. I can only ask so much as a head football coach. And if you're playing hard and you're playing within the system and you're wearing your school colors with pride, and I see the emotion after the game, hey, those boxes are checked. The one
those
we can't
are all
get,
wins for you, Andrew.
The one we can't get is just the W on the field. I'm telling you, we're working towards that.
All right, we're going to take our first break with head coach Andrew Connor. We'll come back talking about this week's opponent, the Beaver Local, when we be right back.
Everhart Bove Funeral Home, they believe you should take care of your loved ones while you still can. Pre-planning at Everhart Bove ensures that your family won't have to worry about the stress of final arrangements during this most difficult time. More importantly, they won't have to worry about how they'll pay for it. Visit Everhart Bove Funeral Home today and discover all the affordable options available. Everhart Bove Funeral Home, Wintersville, Richmond, and Burgolds.
Question. When you walk into the boardrooms of the most successful companies here in Ohio, who do you meet? Answer. Men and women who played high school sports. Education-based high school sports give us more than athletes we can root for. They give us leaders we can depend on. Question. So where will we find tomorrow's leaders? Answer. high school sports.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Being a teenager is tough. There's the constant pressure to be liked.
Endless worrying about college.
Cyberbullying, high expectations, all the negativity.
There's no question. Being a teenager is tough. And what do Ohio's teens do when they want to block out the noise and clear their heads?
We play!
Research shows that teenagers who participate in high school sports have lower stress levels, more confidence, and greater self-esteem. And then there's the biggest benefit of all.
High school sports are fun.
Not just fun.
They're a lot of fun.
Encourage your teenagers to participate in a sport or activity when they go to high school. They'll stress less and smile more. And they'll be laying the foundation for a happier, healthier future.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
This high school event is brought to you by AT&T on Sunset via the AT&T Wireless Network. Remember, don't text and drive, it can wait. AT&T on Sunset is a proud sponsor of this high school event. Everhart Bove Funeral Home, they believe you should take care of your loved ones while you still can. Pre-planning at Everhart Bove ensures that your family won't have to worry about the stress of final arrangements during this most difficult time. More importantly, they won't have to worry about how they'll pay for it. Visit Everhart Bove Funeral Home today and discover all the affordable options available. Everhart Bove Funeral Home, Wintersville, Richmond, and Burgolds.
We're back here at Bennigan's and the Coach's Show here, brought to you by High Valley Sports Online. And Andrew Conner here, Indian Creek. Coach, you got Beaver Local this week, not a bad football team, scoring a lot of points. What else can you tell us?
Well, I mean, me and Mike McKenzie, who's the head coach there now, we've gone against each other for a long time. We go back to the Edison days when he was the head football coach at Edison. I have nothing but respect for how hard he works. They've been patient with him at Beaver, and he's got him going now at Beaver. They've got a lot of skill. If you look at them defensively, they do a lot of the same things we do. They'll run their 4-3. They're very good at linebackers, so they'll stunt some, but they play well and they get to the ball. Offensively, what worries me the most is they've got a lot of speed, and when you've watched them over the last 4 or 5 games and you've seen how much yardage and points they put up, I mean, they're somewhere in the mid-50 range in their last 5 wins. Even their 2 losses were to 2 very good teams, Indian Valley and Salem, early in the year. They've reeled off 5 straight since then. I mean, they are a good, well-rounded football team. Their quarterback can throw the ball very well. They have 2 running backs that can run the ball very well. They've got 2 nice size wideouts to go get the football. They do a lot of stuff, and the one thing about it, when you break down Mike and what he does, there is no real tendency. I mean, he's a 50-50 guy. I don't know if he does it on purpose when he's doing it, but he is really good at never kind of getting something where you can hone in on. And, we're just going to have to be real base. We're going to have to do a good job of tackling. We can't give up big plays. And offensively, we're going to stay in front of the chains. I mean, we really need to work together. Our offense needs to do a good job of controlling the ball, and our defense needs a good job of not allowing them to score in big plays or in bunches that put us in pressure. Then we have to kind of change our offensive game plan, which we don't want to do.
How's their size, Coach?
They're big. They're senior-oriented. I think on their offensive starters, out of their 11 starters, they have 9 seniors and 2 juniors. So they're an older team. They're a nice-sized football team. But again, the thing that jumps out to you is their speed. At wideout and tailback, they can really get after. We watched, on film last week, very first play, they're at the 1-yard line. Kid goes around the left side, outruns everyone, goes 99 yards for a touchdown. So, our goal has to be to do a really good job of, doing well with our run fits and then tackling the pass and not giving up big plays and hopefully making this a game where, we force them into a mistake because they have the ball too long and not just allow them to score in bunches.
Then offensively, your game plan, like you say, stay ahead of the chains, try and keep the ball away from them. Have you seen some things on film that you think you might be able to do?
Well, I mean, one of the things that they do well, and it kind of worries me, is that they're quick to the ball. So, whereas maybe in games before, we allow Zion to go one-on-one with someone, now we're making Zion go maybe against 2 or 3 guys. So, the one thing we were going to try to do our best is maybe try to break some of our tendencies. Maybe make it so that maybe they're guessing incorrectly, and maybe that would help our younger kids. And one of the big things for us is just play sound football and not overburden our kids with some sort of elaborate thing that we think may work. I mean, we're doing well right now, and our base thing has been we want to just keep getting better at the things we do and not try to do this. What I would call grab bagging and say, hey, well, we did this because this team did it for a play. I don't know if you're teaching your kids anything there. We need to do what we do and execute it well, and hopefully, like I said, break some of our tendencies. And, Coach Hammock, like I've said over and over, I mean, he does a really good job of knowing what he does, scouting himself and putting himself and our team in the best position. And I'm sure he's going to do that again for us this week. And the rest of the staff has worked really hard on trying to work on the fundamentals that we need to go to try to get better. And again, when you're playing a team that has been around together for as well as Beaver has and has experienced their success, the thing we need to do is just like I told the kids, you need to go series by series, quarter by quarter, and not get caught up in this, golden game plan. Just try to play it so that we can see what we did. And I thought we did that well at Belair. We got out of the first quarter, it was 6-0. We did those kind of things. We got to do the same type of ideas up at Beaver. Try to get through a play, try to get through a series, and then, see where we're at the end of the first quarter and try to make this, a 4-quarter game.
Well, you're 7 weeks in, Coach, with the fastest 10 weeks of the year, high school football. You're playing a lot of young kids. How are you holding up physically? Are you beat up? Do you got injuries? Or are you still healthy?
I've said this. I think we're starting to show some of the fatigue that you would see. I mean, some of these kids were playing last year junior high football, which their season would be ending now. Some of these kids have been going up against, 18, 19-year-old kids maybe. And I could see it. They're still practicing hard. They're still going hard. But still, fatigue is fatigue. I mean, your body being beat up, your body being beat up. It's not, they're not asking me to get out. They're not saying, hey, I can't practice. But you could tell, there's a fatigue factor there. But like I said, they practice hard and they play hard. And, that's kudos to them and their parents, man. They're kids that really want to represent the school and they want to play and they want to get better. And, as long as we're playing hard and we're trying to get better, good things are ahead of us.
Now, my quick question before we let you go is, when you get into a game like this and you say how talented they are, do you try to cut the game in half? If they don't have it, they can't score.
You do, but again, like I always say, you got to watch. Like I know a lot of coaches say that, but you got to watch. You're not trying just, I told the kids we're going up there to win a football game, so I'm not going up there to say, hey, if we can keep it to whatever. Our goal is to run our offense and defense as if it would be like we want. We want to win a game. I mean, it's not, Beaver's very good, but they're, I'm not putting them in a specific thing where we can't beat them.
Yeah.
I told our kids we're going to just execute what we do. I just didn't want to do the grab bag thing of we change a whole bunch of stuff and we think that's going to work. We've told our kids you've gotten better, you've executed better. There's just a few things we don't do as well as we could, and they're working on that. And I think that's what's most important about this season is that we come out of this season with an identity where we say we can do A, B, and C on defense. We could do A, B, and C on defense, and that's what we're going to build off of down the road, and not this stuff where you see people say, well, we're going to run double tight one week and we're going to run, spread another week.
Put yourself in a panic mode.
And I feel good. I feel confident with our kids, and I really do feel that they are close. And, and I told the kids, why not Beaver? Yeah. Why can't Beaver be the team that we put everything together and we show everybody how far we've come from game one? And we go up there and we play hard for 48 minutes. And, hey, we put ourselves at the end of a game like we did against Ferry. And this time, something good happens to us, and we do make a play, and we do win a football game.
Well, Coach, we'll let you go. We really appreciate your time. I know you're busting your butt, getting better every week. We really hope you can get over the hump this Friday at Beaver. We wish you good luck, and hopefully you can get over the hump this week.
I appreciate it very much.
Win.
Thanks, buddy.
Pulling for you.
Thanks,
we're definitely pulling for you.
Thanks, buddy.
Good luck Friday night. We'll see you next Wednesday, hopefully with a W.
Thank you.
We'll be right back here with Toronto's head football coach, Josh Frankie. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Everhard Bow Funeral Home, for sponsoring Indian Creek head coach Andrew Connor on the Ohio Valley Sports Online Coaches Show.
The game is over, but this time, instead of asking how many goals did you score or what were your stats, try asking these questions. Were you a good teammate? Were you coachable? Did you give 100%? And did you have fun? Because those are the values that school sports instill in Ohio's young people, where winning and losing are secondary to the life lessons that will stay with kids long after their playing days are over. This is the Ohio High School Athletic Association. Educate through sports.
This high school event is brought to you by AT&T on Sunset via the AT&T Wireless Network. Remember, don't text and drive, it can wait. AT&T on Sunset is a proud sponsor of this high school event.
Question. When you walk into the boardrooms of the most successful companies here in Ohio, who do you meet? Answer. Men and women who played high school sports. Education-based high school sports give us more than athletes we can root for. They give us leaders we can depend on. Question. So where will we find tomorrow's leaders? Answer. High school sports.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
The J.E. Foster Funeral Home has been proudly serving the communities of Toronto and Smithfield and all of Jefferson County for over 30 years. They are a family-owned funeral home, and they offer funeral and cremation services tailored to meet your needs, and they do so with professionalism, compassion, dignity, and respect. Jeff and Jay Foster would like to wish the best of luck to Toronto Red Knights and all of the teams up and down the Ohio Valley. If you or someone you know would like more information on how their family can help you guide your family in this time of need, please visit their website, www.jefosterfh.com. That is www.jefosterfh.com. Their motto, our emphasis on family carries over to yours. J.E. Foster Funeral Home, a proud sponsor of the Coaches Show.
Thanks, J.E. Foster Funeral Home, for sponsoring Toronto Red Knights head football coach Josh Franke on the Ohio Valley Sports Online Coaches Show.
How do you define strength? Is it physical? Or is it mental? Maybe it's both. Maybe it's whatever empowers a person to dig deeper, fight harder, and overcome obstacles that once seemed insurmountable. Discover how much stronger and more confident your children can be. Encourage them to participate in a sport when they go to high school.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
This is Ohio Valley Sports Online, your connection to Ohio Valley sports. Listen anywhere in the world from any connected device, smartphone, tablets, iPads, and computers. Ohio Valley Sports Online brings you live game action from the guys with over 50 years in radio sports broadcasting.
The J.E. Foster Funeral Home has been proudly serving the communities of Toronto and Smithfield and all of Jefferson County for over 30 years. They are a family-owned funeral home, and they offer funeral and cremation services tailored to meet your needs, and they do so with professionalism, compassion, dignity, and respect. Jeff and Jay Foster would like to wish the best of luck to Toronto Red Knights and all of the teams up and down the Ohio Valley. If you or someone you know would like more information on how their family can help you guide your family in this time of need, please visit their website, www.jefosterfh.com. That is www.jefosterfh.com. Their motto, our emphasis on family carries over to yours. J.E. Foster Funeral Home, a proud sponsor of the Coaches Show.
This is Ohio Valley Sports Online, your connection to Ohio Valley sports. Listen anywhere in the world from any connected device, smartphone, tablets, iPads, and computers. Ohio Valley Sports Online brings you live game action from the guys with over 50 years in radio sports broadcasting.
Welcome back, everyone, to Bennigan's Restaurant with Toronto head coach Josh Franke here on Ohio Valley Sports Online. Jim Huggins now, along with Jason Jenkins, with Dan Vogel on our controls. And, Coach, you mentioned before we come on, you changed everything. And, tough game on Friday night going. First of all, it's always hard to go play in Barnesville.
Sure.
It's hard. First of all, it's hard enough to find a field. And then, you got to actually play there. But they Looks like they just let start to finish. What'd you think about the game?
You know, it was honestly at the end of the first quarter, it was 7-0. Their first touchdown was a third down play. The snap was high. Quarterback had to jump up kind of to grab it, and it's kind of a broken play, and he kind of just took off and broke it for 30 yards on us. And our defense was actually holding pretty strong, but again. At the end of that first quarter, with it being 7-0, I thought, we're right in it. Then they got a series in the second quarter. They throw a deep pass. We get a pass interference call. They end up scoring, 2 plays later, I believe. And then on the ensuing kickoff, we had a couple guys back, and one of our little freshmen were back there, and. He touches the ball. The ball rolls into the end zone. Barnesville jumps on it, and they call it a touchdown. Now, from what I understand, I believe that's still a touchback. I think that's still a touchback.
Yeah, that's what I.
But the officiating crew called it a touchdown, Barnesville, and just like that, they're up 21-0. And again, I think after losing 2 straight, and you find yourself in the second quarter in a 21-point hole quickly.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, again, it's just bad things happening that's causing it. It's just one of those things where the kids, their confidence is fragile right now. And you hate to see them kind of pack it in, but it's just one of those nights that nothing went right. I mean, even towards the end of the game, we got some young kids in, and our young kids we had a botched snap that fell into the back of their end zone. Their guys jumped on it for a touchdown, and then they had a pick six the next series, and then they stripped one of our guys and ran it back for a touchdown. And that was in the fourth quarter, probably a span of about 2.5, 3 minutes, where it was just like, you don't know you don't know what to do anymore at that point. You know what I mean? It's just so it was 41-0. Heading into the fourth, and then just the continual spiral downward from there. It's hard, but you tell the kids, listen, you're playing. You've last 2 weeks you've played 2 Division V schools that are undefeated and are some of the top seeds in the Division V in their region. So, and you're dressing 19 kids. It's like you try to look at the positives of it. There's not a whole lot of positives you can take out of it, other than the fact that you had some young kids play against some really experienced and good quality competition. So
there's really nothing. I mean, when you're standing on the sidelines and watching all this happen, and you mentioned it's just like one thing after another snowballs. There's really not much you can do as a coaching staff. You can try and keep the kids' encouragement up there, but it's got to be difficult watching that, knowing that they're hurting because of what's going on. You're hurting for them and for your whole team, and it's just one of those situations where you just get that bus started. Let's get out of here.
Right.
Concentrate on next week.
Well, and you got to be careful. Obviously the kids are angry. They're frustrated. They going start season 4-0 and you drop 3, and your drop. The last 2 have been pretty bad, and you gotta really hold the locker room together, prevent them from pointing fingers and playing the blame game, and telling them like, hey, listen, this is on us as a coaching staff. There's better days ahead. You just have to ride out the storm, and and that's kind of the message is like, listen, yeah, things aren't the greatest right now, but there's better days ahead. You literally just got through the thick and the meat of the schedule, and now you're going to get some teams that are your size.
Smash any pumpkins on the way out?
No.
You know what, Coach, and to your credit and to what you're saying, and coaching before, and I had beatdowns like that in girls softball. We might have lost 19-0, 20. But you know what I told them in the dugout after? Guess what? We lost 1 game, not 20. We lost. So I don't care if the score was 100-0.
Right.
It's 1 loss. You guys still control your own.
We went up. We had a couple kids get invited up on a recruiting trip to Eastern Michigan over the weekend, and me and my wife drove those guys up, and we got to hear Coach Creighton talk before the game, and he had a pretty strong message that no matter if you lost 60-0 or you won 60-0, come Monday, you start over.
Yes,
You start. That's the mentality you gotta have. You start over on Monday. So it was nice to hear some of our leaders hear that message and be able to take that back to the team on Monday, and as leaders, kind of be like, hey guys, we're starting fresh. What happened happened. It's done. It's over with. We're moving forward. So.
And like you said, you've played some. Bigger schools, and people don't. All they see is wins and losses. But for the people that don't know, there is the other side of people that do see. It's tough when you have 19, 20 kids, and the other side's got 56 or 40. It's
well, and honestly, again, Edison and Barnesville, they both were 50-plus kids, but for that, I guess if you're going to try to pull positive out of it, there were times where we were competitive. There was times where, again, we end the Edison game at 0-0 at the end of the first quarter. We end the Barnesville game at 7-0, and they scored on a botched snap, broken play. So it's like, you try to express to the kids, like, you're capable. You're beating yourself.
Right.
You're beating yourself. These other teams aren't beating you. You're beating yourself, and then you're getting into such a big hole. I feel like, when you start to get down, kids, your leaders, start to try to do more than what their job is. They try to start to do their job plus other people's jobs to stop the bleeding and try to make a play. And at times they try to do too much. They blow their assignment because they're trying to do somebody else's assignment. So it's dangerous when you start getting that hole because you need to tell the kid, like, hey, you're still focusing on doing your job.
Right.
Don't try to do too much. You try to do too much, you get overwhelmed, and you're not playing disciplined football at that point. I think that's kind of where we're at right now is, like, kids are frustrated. They're trying to make plays by themselves rather than, rely on the team and the scheme and the philosophy.
And it just kind of snowballs from there. If you get one guy, he wants to make a great play, and then everybody feels like they're going to make a great play. Same thing happens otherwise. If you get burned on a touchdown pass, now everybody's worried about, we got to make sure nobody gets behind us. It's just like, it's just a vicious cycle when it comes down to it.
It's like, well, I told the kids, like quicksand, like if you get stuck in quicksand, you start to struggle to get out. Most people know that you're only going to sink deeper into the quicksand. When you get into quicksand, they tell you, that you need to relax, stay calm, try not to move so much. And the last thing you want to do is freak out and try to do too much to get yourself out. And I think that's what we do. We get into a little bit of a hole. We get into the quicksand, and then we have a bunch of guys kind of panic and try to do too much to get us out, and then we just end up sinking down even deeper.
I got to ask you, and I know it's hard after a game like that, but I always try to maintain a positive. Give me something that you can take. Okay, we might not have did much right, but we did this right.
Wow.
Friday night, if there was any.
Listen, there really wasn't much good. I'll be honest with you. That was one of those films where it's like, we just need to trash and burn this film. And it's honestly, I think the positive spin is that early on we were competitive.
Okay.
We were competitive. We got some stops defensively against their offense. And then we had some young kids play some really talented teams.
Yes.
And that's
down there on grass, which is huge. That's a huge difference.
And it's hard to see the silver lining now, but again, those young kids are going to get older. It's like with 2 seniors right now, and only one's playing the past couple weeks. Those kids are all coming back next year. Everybody that was out on that field Friday are coming back next year. So it's one of those things where you just you got to tell yourself, all right, we're 4-3. All right, the schedule gets a little easier with schools our size. You're playing young kids. Just got to remain patient and trust the process.
Yeah, the big picture, not the
correct.
Yeah, so.
What did you? It's always hard to find a silver lining in a game that ends up like it did. But what did you see either at the game itself or on film that this is something we can build off of? I like what we did here. Let's continue to do that.
I think it was more like a self-reflection where it's like maybe a couple of the things that we're trying to do right now isn't working, or at least not against these teams. And, I think it's one of those times where it's like, all right, you got to do a self-evaluation, look back over the past 3 or 4 weeks and say, I think what we're looking at is our offense is different without Zane Kinsey. And I think at times we're still running the offense as if Zane Kinsey was there. And listen, Don Boucher is a credible athlete, but he's not Zane Kinsey. He's just a different type of athlete.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's not a tailback. And we have 2 young tailbacks. One is our starting fullback that we've placed at tailback. The other tailback's a freshman. And it's just one of those things where it's like we built this system around Zeb's ability to run the ball and Zane's ability to run the ball, and then Dom on the outside and running jet sweeps and taking care of, that side of the game. So you get this self-reflection of, all right, well, one of those pieces of the puzzle isn't there now. So what are we good at when Zane's not there?
Right.
And then let's focus more attention on those areas rather than trying to run the system that we were running when Zane's in there. So I think you're going to get a little different looking offense this week, and that's by design, but I think it gears more towards our strengths.
Let me ask you this. You talked about this week. How is the mentality, how's practice been this week, basically?
I was a little worried. I mean, listen, last week was a great week of practice, and we've had really positive vibes going into Friday night, and, obviously that went quickly, but I was a little worried coming into Monday. But again, I think the first thing we did was address the team, and we, again, talked about starting over. Like, we're going to start over. Like, the season's not lost. You are number 8 in the region right now. You are still in hosting a home game contention. You now have 3 smaller schools on your schedule to end the season. Everything you want that home game. It's still right there, and you just got to do your job. And we got to focus on what's in front of us, not focus in the rear view, and that's the message. And honestly, practice has been very focused this week. I think last week practice was very laid back, and there was a good vibe in the air. This week, I don't know if I'm going too far to say it was a little bit of desperation, but the focus is increased, as in this is one we got to have.
How's your injury situation? Did you come out of the game okay? And do you have any of these guys that have been injured coming back?
Came out pretty healthy. As I mentioned, Zane is a week-to-week basis. I will say that we were told Tuesday, if Zane doesn't play Saturday, he will for sure be playing next Friday.
Okay.
So listen, he has been riding the bike really hard. He's now jogging and running around. He had a doctor's appointment Monday. Things are looking very well. They have been shocked at how quickly he's progressed through this. So there is a chance. Now, listen, he went on a visit today to Cincinnati, so he wasn't there today. But there's a chance of him playing Saturday. It's going to be a Saturday morning decision. If he doesn't play Saturday, he's for sure playing next Friday, senior night. So it will be great to get him back. We're getting Alan Sanseverino, who's a D lineman for us, back this week. He has not played all year. He had a broken back, and he's finally gone through the physical therapy needed and has been cleared to play on the D line. So we are getting a little health back. Not everybody, but we're getting closer.
So it's getting better.
I think, knock on wood, I think we'll be at full strength next Friday for sure.
Well, the Josh Frankie Show is being brought to you today by J.E. Foster Funeral Homes in Toronto. Let's take a time out. We'll be back with Coach's thoughts about the game coming up against Madonna on Saturday.
The J.E. Foster Funeral Home has been proudly serving the communities of Toronto and Smithfield and all of Jefferson County for over 30 years. They are a family-owned funeral home, and they offer funeral and cremation services tailored to meet your needs, and they do so with professionalism, compassion, dignity, and respect. Jeff and Jay Foster would like to wish the best of luck to Toronto Red Knights and all of the teams up and down the Ohio Valley. If you or someone you know would like more information on how their family can help you guide your family in this time of need, please visit their website, www.jefosterfh.com. That is www.jefosterfh.com. Their motto, our emphasis on family carries over to yours. J.E. Foster Funeral Home, a proud sponsor of the Coaches Show.
Meet Josh.
Hi, everybody.
Josh is a high school basketball player, solid shooter, great teammate.
Hey, don't forget my tenacious D.
And he's my son.
Oh.
So, what does Josh do to be the best basketball player he can be?
I play tennis.
Studies show that student athletes here in Ohio who play more than one high school sport are more likely to excel. Tennis does more than improve Josh's conditioning. It gives him a fresh competitive outlet, reduces the risk of injury by cross-training, and introduces him to different coaching techniques and new friends.
Don't get me wrong, hoops are my first love. Tennis just gives me a little break.
So when the new season begins, Josh isn't burned out on basketball. He's eager to play, and you can see the difference in his game.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Thanks, J.E. Foster Funeral Home, for sponsoring Toronto Red Knights head football coach Josh Franke on the Ohio Valley Sports Online Coaches Show.
The J.E. Foster Funeral Home has been proudly serving the communities of Toronto and Smithfield and all of Jefferson County for over 30 years. They are a family-owned funeral home, and they offer funeral and cremation services tailored to meet your needs, and they do so with professionalism, compassion, dignity, and respect. Jeff and Jay Foster would like to wish the best of luck to Toronto Red Knights and all of the teams up and down the Ohio Valley. If you or someone you know would like more information on how their family can help you guide your family in this time of need, please visit their website, www.jefosterfh.com. That is www.jefosterfh.com. Their motto, our emphasis on family carries over to yours. J.E. Foster Funeral Home, a proud sponsor of the Coaches Show.
This is Ohio Valley Sports Online, your connection to Ohio Valley sports. Listen anywhere in the world from any connected device, smartphone, tablets, iPads, and computers. Ohio Valley Sports Online brings you live game action from the guys with over 50 years in radio sports broadcasting.
And we're back here at Bennigan's. Coach Josh Franke, sponsored by J.E. Foster Funeral Home. This week, Coach, hit the road right across the river, from one of the river. We're at Madonna.
Yep. I've never been there. It was my first game there. So been here 5 years. It was the first time we've gotten to play there. So I'm looking forward to it.
It's a nice place, artificial turf and everything, but bleacher are pretty high on the home side. I don't know about the visiting side, but it's always a nice place. We did several games there over the past few years.
Yeah.
But you mentioned about how you're facing these big teams, the Barnesvilles, the Edisons. Now the next few games are more along your line of scheduling, with Madonna being the first one up. We did their game when they played Catholic Central
2 weeks ago, yeah.
And they hung on to win that ball game, scored a couple of touchdowns late. What's your thoughts about where Madonna coming in?
Well, like you mentioned, I'm happy to see the roster size. Their official roster lists 23, but seeing on film against Cameron, they dress 17. So, that's right around where we're at. So it's nice to kind of see them, see somebody that has the same problems that you have as far as roster size goes. But listen, that doesn't mean they're not going to put a good, quality product on the field. They have a 6'4" wide receiver they like to put on the outside, and he's got some speed to him. Quarterback, despite being a sophomore, he's pretty athletic. He can make some plays. Pretty thick running back, right around 200, 205 probably, and gets downhill, runs pretty hard. Their defensive line, they have 18 at DN, and they have their running back at the other DN, so they get upfield quick. They cause problems for your tackles, and then they have a freshman, 65 or 56, plays defensive tackle. He's pretty quick off the ball. He gave Cameron some problems, their center some problems. So they run man, they run some zone concepts. Mostly, offensively they'll jump in the I formation a little bit, but they're also going to run, 3-by-1, 2-by-2. Still a heavy passing team. Despite the coaching change, which was a surprise to me. But, again, they're a quality opponent. They're definitely somebody that can beat us.
And you're right. They are – people, expected with the loss of the Arleas finally, the Arleas there, that this would be a very down and trodden year. But Madonna's competing And you're right, the McAllister kid's a sophomore quarterback.
Mhm.
They're not afraid to throw the ball. And one thing I was really surprised against Catholic Central, not only the 6'4" with Colton, I forget his name, but the other kid.
Number 4, yeah.
Speed. Man, he had a little bit of speed there too. So they do have some athleticism, and
sure do.
They're gonna come ready to play. You know, I mean, so.
Yep, and we expect that, and again, listen, it was a close game last year. It was a 19-16 ball game last year. I'm pretty sure the kid that plays tailback for him now played tailback against us last year, and he actually had a really good game running the ball. Last year they ran a lot more than we expected them to. So that was one of the things we addressed today defensively in practice was, despite what our reports say of 75% passing the ball, last year they ran the ball a lot, and our defense needs to be prepared to stop that as well. So they just can't get zoned in on one thing. So they have success in the run game, they'll stay with it.
What have you found in your tape studying with them? What do you think is going to work for you offensively and also defensively to stop their attack?
Honestly, it's getting our playmakers the ball, making sure Zeb has opportunities to get the ball, and then Dom has opportunities to get the ball. Nolan Dickinson's turned into a really good possession receiver for us, so be able to have him catch the ball and get some yardage there. So, again, I think, we have to lean heavily on our offensive line, whether that is in pass pro or in the run game. Those guys were the first 4 weeks. I mean, we were really leaning on them. We've moved some guys around up front as of late, but just being able to win the line of scrimmage, really on both sides of the ball, defensive line and the offensive line, is win the line of scrimmage. A lot of times you talk about resetting that line of scrimmage a yard behind the actual line of scrimmage, and if we can do that, I think we'll be okay. But the same thing offensively, if we can get a push and reestablish the line of scrimmage. I think a lot of people don't realize that, that's how gaps are created. Your DNs can get upfield, but if your interior can push those D tackles back, you can create a yard or two of separation. It creates a lot bigger hole. So, that's something that we really need to focus on and get back to. I think at times, we might try to get I'll be the first to admit it, and this is my fault. I mean, there might be times we try to get a little too cute on offense, and we just need to go back to our basic schemes and principles that we're having success on at the beginning of the year. Despite not having Zane here, there were still things we were doing that Zane wasn't involved in that we had success with. So we have to try and get back to some of those things.
What kind of game do you want on Saturday? A lot of guys say, listen, I want to get a track meet. I think we have the athletes to, put the pedal to the metal the whole time. Some teams said, look, I want to grind it, I pound it out to keep their offense off the field. What, in a perfect scenario for your team on Saturday, what kind of game do you have?
Listen, again, I played wide receiver in high school, and I'm offense coordinator now, and I work with our quarterbacks, and I think people just kind of think that I want to throw the ball, but this is Toronto football, and we run the football. So we're a big line. Like, if it were up to me, I want to see our offense run for 300 yards. That's safe. I hate to quote Woody Hayes, but when you throw the ball, there's 3 things that can happen, and 2 of them are bad. So I would much rather be safe and run the ball. But again, I think teams have kind of figured us out that that's what we want to do. So we expect, just like anybody else we play, we expect them to have a loaded box. But the perfect world is we run for 300 yards and we shut down their passing attack. I think that's our general basis. I think we've come to the consensus that if they run for 200-300 yards on us and they win, then so be it. We're going to force them to do something they're uncomfortable with, just like they're going to do for us. They know we want to run the ball, so they're going to try to force us with our sophomore quarterback to throw the ball.
By the way, don't ever bring up Woody Hayes again in front of 2 Michigan fans.
Listen,
You're a Michigan
fan
too.
I am.
Jeez.
It's but I listen. It's a great quote. I can't disagree with it. So
now, what do they bring to the table defensively? I can't remember. So what kind of defense they run?
So yeah, they run a 4-2-5. And like I said, you're going to get some man coverage and some zone concepts. They have an overhang linebacker, safety type kid, number 6. He's going to play. you're kind of guessing. Against Central, he was playing to the field the whole time. And then against Cameron, there was times he was in the boundary, there's times he's in the field. So you look at these teams and you're trying to understand. I think we talked last time. Every team has rules. Like every defense has rules, and these are the rules that they abide by, and this is what they do, and there's a reason why they do it. And I think film study comes down to that is like kind of reverse engineering almost what they do and trying to figure out and understand them. Sun Tzu in The Art of War is, he has a great quote of, you understand your opponent so well that you love them. And I think that's kind of what you do when you try to watch film is, at least when I'm watching film and I'm watching their defense, I want to understand why they're doing what they're doing and how that's going to affect us. Like, how are they going to attack us? What's their defensive personality? What's their rules? How do they play the game? How are they coached? I think you do that the same thing when you're looking at their offense. Like what are they? What are they trying to do? What's their strategy? What's their scheme? What are they comfortable with? What are they not comfortable with? And by doing that, you understand them and understand them so well that you're able to defeat them.
Right.
Should be a good one on Saturday night. The extra day of preparation, everything, does that help you, Nate? Then we just continue to stay?
What a godsend that's been. I mean, Monday was very, very light. We didn't go out in helmets. We didn't go out in shoulder pads. We went out. We went over the game plan in the locker room. We have a great app. It's called Team Nation, and each week we put our game plans on this app, and the kids can access it right from their mobile phone. And you can throw play diagrams in there. You can do voice recordings. You can take screen clippings of film that you want them to see specific things in film. So that app's been great for us this year because the whole playbook literally is right on their phone. But we were able to go over that game plan in depth. Again, I think we're doing some different stuff this week. Some stuff that is going to look maybe a little bizarre, but I think is going to have some success and kind of, again, play better to our strengths. But then we went out and we did an install. Like, all right, here we talked about it, we looked at it, now let's go walk through it. And then that was a very light day. We did Tuesday was our normal Monday, and Wednesday was our normal Tuesday, and Friday will be our walkthrough, and Saturday. That's the one downside of Saturday games is you don't want those kids sleeping in until 1 or 2 o'clock. I think we're going to open up the locker room at noon. Invite them down and watch some college football. I mean, when I first got here, we had a very generous donation from a booster. He donated a 70-inch flat-screen TV, so it sits in the locker room, and they have, it's kind of like a player's lounge. But we'll invite them down, let them watch college football. We'll go to the Last Resort down there in Toronto, the marina there. They're feeding us a buffet dinner at 2:30.
2:30? I'll be there.
There you go. And then we'll get back. We'll go through. We'll do a walkthrough, and we'll jump on the buses and head over there. And we usually are trying to be out on the field around 5:15. So.
Man, every week you get me. Right at some point in time, that was my next question. What's the plan Friday night and Saturday
there you
morning?
Go.
Every week he beats me to the punch.
There you go. So listen, you got to plan for those things, and I think a lot of people don't understand the organization and the preparation that goes into managing a team. I think a lot of people think of themselves as play callers and want to just call plays, and it's a lot more than that. And especially when you're dealing with teenage boys, you cannot allow for a down minute, because if you do, you're letting them get into trouble at some point.
That's what I'm always curious about. Our next guest, Eric Meek, about how Catholic Central plays most of their games on Saturday night. So you have every week you have that extra down, and have to keep an eye on your kids.
Well, I mean, I think what's hard with the Saturday games, more so than playing on Saturday, is that you have a short week the next week.
Next week, yes.
Like my typical weekend is I wake up on Saturday morning and I'll start looking at next week's film, like thinking, all right, here's what they do, like we just talked about, kind of reverse engineering, like what do they do? And then Sunday morning, I wake up probably about 5:30 in the morning, and I start putting together our game plan. I'll work on that probably until about 2 p.m., and then we have a coaches meeting that night at 7. So, I plan on reaching out to Pie Valley tomorrow and seeing if he wants to exchange 2 weeks ago's or last week's film, so I can maybe peek at that Saturday morning, and then after our game Saturday night, exchange that film for their Friday night film. But it's gonna, and then you're asking the kids to come to practice Monday, only a day after the game. I think that's hard. You play a Saturday game, you're on a short week the next week. So I don't know.
Well, Coach, we appreciate the time as always. Look forward to getting you guys back on the winning side.
Thank you.
Against Madonna on Saturday, we'll be there too Saturday night. So good luck to you guys against the Blue Dons, and
thank you.
Hopefully Wednesday we'll be talking about.
I hope so, man.
Victory, man.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey,
Have a good one.
Josh Frankie of the Toronto Red Knights.
Thanks, J.E. Foster Funeral Home, for sponsoring Toronto Red Knights head football coach Josh Frankie on the Ohio Valley Sports Online Coaches Show.
It may not require a textbook, but it's filled with valuable lessons. It may not take place in a classroom, but it's an ideal environment for learning. It may not involve a diploma, but it can help prepare Ohio's young people for life. It's high school sports. High school sports can play a critical role in a student's overall education. In fact, studies show that students that participate in high school sports are more likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in their academic lives. If you think high school sports are only about competition, think again. Better yet, think about attending a high school sporting event in your community. You'll be amazed by what you see. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
A pioneer of casual dining, Bennigan's is internationally known for its unique neighborhood vibe and exceptional chef-driven food. Come to Bennigan's on University Boulevard to stir up a great memory. Come for happy hour Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. and get $1 off draft and bottled beer and $1 off signature cocktails. Grab some bar bites too, only $5 from 9 p.m. to close. Hey, are you a soccer fan? Check out the schedule of English Premier League soccer games. Bennigan's even has delivery service, and the number to call, 740-792-8080. You got a friend at Bennigan's.
This is Ohio Valley Sports Online, your connection to Ohio Valley sports. Listen anywhere in the world from any connected device, smartphone, tablets, iPads, and computers. Ohio Valley Sports Online brings you live game action from the guys with over 50 years in radio sports broadcasting.
Being a teenager is tough. There's the constant pressure to be liked.
Endless worrying about college.
Cyberbullying, high expectations, all the negativity.
There's no question. Being a teenager is tough. And what do Ohio's teens do when they want to block out the noise and clear their heads?
We play!
Yeah! Research shows that teenagers who participate in high school sports have lower stress levels, more confidence, and greater self-esteem. And then there's the biggest benefit of all.
High school sports are fun.
Not just fun.
They're a lot of fun.
Encourage your teenagers to participate in a sport or activity when they go to high school. They'll stress less and smile more. And they'll be laying the foundation for a happier, healthier future.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
This high school event is brought to you by AT&T on Sunset via the AT&T Wireless Network. Remember, don't text and drive, it can wait. AT&T on Sunset is a proud sponsor of this high school event.
Welcome back, everyone, to Bennigan's Restaurant. People eating on a late Wednesday evening. It's a nice dinner crowd here at nighttime. You want to stop on by anytime during the shows from 6 to 8 every Wednesday night here. And we're talking with Steubenville Catholic Central head coach Eric Meek about his team's big victory over Carrick. Not only did you win, you get a shutout, right?
Right, yes,
I mean,
29-0.
It's always nice to win the game itself, but to get the shutout is just icing on the cake. How did you pull this off as far as it was crappy weather out, rain? I was watching it at home on my YouTube TV, and I was like, man, I'm glad I'm not there. And I saw you. You didn't even have a hat on when I saw you, and it was raining. I'm like, why aren't you wearing a hat? It's raining out, for Pete's sake. But I was down on the field that night.
Oh, it was. I had my old Robert Morris Gore-Tex on, so that's things old, almost 20 years. But that kept me dry, and it was a great night for our kids. I thought we took a step forward. We contained their speed. They had 4 yards rushing, and with the exception of the last play of the game when we had a lot of our second guys in, they hit a 70-yard pass. That was really the extent of their yardage. And we even got 2 safeties on defense, so that was good. I don't know if I've ever coached in a game. I was asked that this week, and I can't remember ever getting 2 safeties in a game. So that was great. I thought our special teams played very well. And offensively, we did what we had to do. We piled up yardage on the ground, and we had 1 turnover, which is 1 too many. But that's
you won a turnover battle,
right? Absolutely. And it was a good night. The kids played hard. The kids had fun. The kids were aggressive. And I've been saying we've been improving since I think Game 3 is when the light switch kind of turned on. I saw. And every week we've been getting better. And we want to play our best football in the month of October. I've been saying that since June. I've been telling the kids if we're healthy, we want to be playing our best football at the end of the season.
And you know what, Coach, you're right. And like, once again, just from covering from the beginning of the year to now, I've said before, you can see it. You can see the difference from Game 1 to now. You see the aggressiveness. Once again, I got to say there's a meeting in the backfield amongst the central defensive line, the special teams. And it seems that not only that, the offensive players are, you can see, okay, they're buying into the concept of, okay, this is what we got to do. We got to put in the hammer offense this game, and we're going to run it because it's working.
Right.
And they bought into it, and they just, the defense. The biggest thing, and I talked about this with Coach Sack during the game, you mentioned before, you made no bones about all year lack of team speed. And this team had team speed, and you took it away completely. They had more yards on the last play of the game than they had the entire game. So
we kept it all in front of us.
The whole game, the whole thing came together, and it's just great to see the kids buying into the concept, and it's from here to here. The night and day, I commend you and the kids for that.
Well, and my assistant coaches do a great job. Matt Grimard, our offensive coordinator, line coach Rick Gillette, defensive coordinator Bruce Palmer, and Coach John Lesnar, who coaches our running backs and linebackers. And we got some other people that help in different roles that do a good job as well. But, it's just, I think now the kids are understanding, too, that the little things, being on time and being accountable and doing, come to our practice, we move quickly. There's not a lot of standing around. We're always moving. We're always coaching. We get stuff in. And the kids are starting to really understand football. I've said it before. We use the term backyard football back in late August on this show when I wasn't quite as optimistic as I am now about the big picture. And now the kids are starting to understand why we're so nitpicky about so many different things. And they're now starting to understand, wow, this is why we do this is why we do that. And it's all starting to come together. We don't have as many wins as we have wanted at this point, but I am very confident in saying, as you just said, that we're a better football team than we were in August, and we're a better team than we were in September. And hopefully by the end of October, we'll be even a better team.
And that, I would bring up things that we saw during the game. Use the word, you talked about the kids buying in and learning the game of football. And I remember saying, while he may not have made a tackle, defensive ends contained.
Right.
Okay, so my job may not be I didn't make the tackle, but my job is to keep them. And then my man, the Reaper, that's what we were called. I don't know if you heard over the loudspeaker, the PA man, when Brendan Grimm got a sack and Richie Goulin, he says, another sack by the Reaper, and it just fired the crowd up.
Oh, really?
Just little things like that. It just,
So, it's it's amazing that you said that because we just said that to the kids Monday in film. You know, sometimes you have to have that outside arm free and stay on the outside to make the defender go back inside where there's 9 other guys.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, bam, he's down. And then it starts to click. Oh, man. You know, like I said, when we say backyard football, it's like when we used to play back in the backyard.
Right.
Everyone, it's just a free-for-all. You can't do that in football to be fundamental.
Right.
You got to be able to understand, you know, if you're kicking on offense, I mean kicking out.
I know what
it's
you're-
a
yeah.
blocking term. That you know you got to be able to run it up inside. If the guy's coming down and you have to seal instead, we got to read that. And you know, it's just so many different things now that they're starting to understand our terminology and what we want them to do. And when you understand now, you're not on your heels and you can relax and have fun and play football.
And that's what it looks like is happening.
Right.
What was it that, I mean, because you ran a lot of the hammer offense. You call it,
Yes.
yeah. What was it that you saw early on? It's like that this was going to be.
Well, we felt that we had to go up inside the way their front was playing. But you know that hammer offense, I invented that term for my offense way back in '93 when I was the head coach of Toronto the first time. So let me tell you if I can. So my hammer at Toronto the first time and Wellsville and Weir High was the old Don Butchie Cardinal Mooney stacked eye, who my dad coached for and is to this day a very close friend of my dad. And I idolized Coach Butchie as a young boy, and even though I never played for him, I just always idolized his football. And then when I went to Toronto the second time, because of our personnel, I had a kid by the name of Aaron Thompson. And we moved him from the line to the backfield. We used the same schemes, but only it looked like a wishbone.
Right.
But it was a stacked eye plays. And then when I got a kid named Nathan Carafa at quarterback a few years later, I said, well, let's run the wishbone hammer, same schemes, and let's put our double tight. Let's put Nathan at quarterback in the gun because he's really a quarterback tailback.
Right.
And so we ran both. And now here at Central, because we are pretty much a shotgun team, we stay with the shotgun and we take that extra back and we put them up in the B gap, up in the behind the center. But we have some other variations that we may be using later on in the year. So that's old school football.
Right. Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
Right.
Coach, let me. I was a little bit not shocked, but when I turned the game on, I saw you had a different quarterback in Iolente, and you had moved your former quarterback out of there. Was that something that was coming? What precipitated you deciding to make that change? How did you make that change? And it worked out pretty well.
Well, it was the decision was made because on Tuesday of last week, when we got out there, I guess it was Tuesday or Wednesday, we got out there and Andrew took a hit late in the game, the previous game, and his running ability was great as we put him in on the quarterback sneak. But he was having trouble throwing his shoulder. So, you know, he played a lot of defense and played well, and he played at receiver, and you know, he's done a great job all year. And we just said, you know, he couldn't throw the ball effectively the way his shoulder was feeling. So we put Tyler in. Tyler did a great job. They both been practicing at that position all week, and who we're going to start. I kind of have an idea, but I'm not going to say it on the air here.
Oh, come on. We got to be first scoop.
Sorry.
Jeez.
No, and I will. You know, I said it on the air.
But I think they'll both play. I'm very confident in both. But you know, if a kid's having an injury situation, you know, we got to do what's best for the team and him. And you know, and Tyler did a great job, and Andrew was like, Coach, I actually was going to put Andrew in because Tyler was doing well. I said, let's see if we get two quarterbacks going here. And Andrew, I could just tell. He said, Coach, I can play defense and receive. I just don't. He just didn't feel real comfortable throwing the ball.
And you know what? And I said this on the air during the game. I really commend. They look good. You know, like you said, you put Andrew moved back there a little bit, then the quarterback, but they both handled, you know, the variations.
Right.
Like when Tyler went to receiver, Andrew hit him with the pass.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Andrew.
And they both know. They
Right.
both know what everyone's supposed to do.
Right.
So you know, they're two great kids, and
you mentioned
absolutely.
To me, that was Andrew's best game at linebacker. He was killing people.
Both of them played well, right?
Yeah, I mean, so
absolutely,
it helped him on the defensive side of the ball. You know, maybe not having to worry so much about being at the quarterback.
Right, and you know, so they both did very well, and they played defense, and you know, people always say to me, "Why do you let your quarterback play?" My coaches are like defensive coaches. Are we allowed to play this kid? Because I'm like, when have I ever, in coaching Division VII, which I've been a head coach 19 out of 23 years, small schools. I have never. Maybe it's foolish on my part, but I've never said my quarterback can't play defense because you got to put your best people on the field.
Right.
Seemed like
because
did
of numbers.
Pretty good job running the ball too. Fallon had a big night for you.
Right.
First time we've seen that happen. Does you see more in the future for him after? Is that like a coming out kind of a game?
Yeah, Tyler Iolenta at the quarterback spot had a big game. He had, I believe, like 118, 120 yards. B.J. Fallon had a lot of yardage, about 80 or so. And Tommy Purgie had around 50 or 60. So, you know, the last couple weeks, our offense has began to move the ball. Like I said, the week before, we scored 14 against a pretty good Madonna team, but had about 300 yards. We had 5 turnovers.
Right.
And when you have 5 turnovers, you're not going to get a lot of points. I don't care how many yards you put up against a good team.
Crusader Coaches Show is being brought to you tonight by Bennigan's. Let's take a timeout. We'll be back with Coach Meeks to talk about this week's game after these words.
A pioneer of casual dining, Bennigan's is internationally known for its unique neighborhood vibe and exceptional chef-driven food. Come to Bennigan's on University Boulevard to stir up a great memory. Come for happy hour Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. and get $1 off draft and bottled beer and $1 off signature cocktails. Grab some bar bites too. Only $5 from 9 p.m. to close. Hey, are you a soccer fan? Check out the schedule of English Premier League soccer games. Bennigan's even has delivery service, and the number to call 740-792-8080. You got a friend at Bennigan's.
This high school event is brought to you by AT&T on Sunset via the AT&T wireless network. Remember, don't text and drive, it can wait. AT&T on Sunset is a proud sponsor of this high school event.
Meet Josh.
Hi, everybody.
Josh is a high school basketball player, solid shooter, great teammate.
Hey, don't forget my tenacious D.
And he's my son.
Oh.
So, what does Josh do to be the best basketball player he can be?
I play tennis.
Studies show that student athletes here in Ohio who play more than one high school sport are more likely to excel. Tennis does more than improve Josh's conditioning. It gives him a fresh competitive outlet, reduces the risk of injury by cross-training, and introduces him to different coaching techniques and new friends.
Don't get me wrong, hoops are my first love. Tennis just gives me a little break.
So when the new season begins, Josh isn't burned out on basketball. He's eager to play, and you can see the difference in his game.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
This is Ohio Valley Sports Online, your connection to Ohio Valley sports. Listen anywhere in the world from any connected device, smartphone, tablets, iPads, and computers. Ohio Valley Sports Online brings you live game action from the guys with over 50 years in radio sports broadcasting.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Crusader Head Coaches Show with head coach Eric Meek, whose team got victory on last weekend's ball game, but now you go up on Friday night, go on the road. So you have one less day to prepare, but you go to Bridgeport.
Right.
What can you tell us about the Bulldogs, how they've been doing this year, and what kind of game are you expecting from them?
Well, they're 4-3. They've put up quite a few points. Now, a couple weeks ago, they played River, who's very good. I was at that game, and we have film on them as well. So, they've won. They're 4-3, and they like to throw the football. They've had some injuries on their interior line. Of course, you don't know until you get there Friday night to see who's back and who's playing and who's dressed and who isn't. Defensively, they've run a couple different fronts against different teams, against different formations. So we've been prepared for that as well. And, we really need to just take care of ourselves. That's kind of been our motto here the last 3 weeks or so. Just, we got to know what they have personnel-wise, what their game plan is, their stunts or blitz or formations or plays or blocking schemes, all those things. But really focus on playing sound fundamental football and having all that stuff covered.
Oh, excuse me. I gotta ask you, I don't know much about Bridgeport. Are they a bigger team? Are they more of a speed finesse team?
Well, yeah, they have pretty good skill, and like I said, they'll spread you out and they'll try to throw the ball, some short stuff, then hit you deep. They're like I said, right now they're playing some freshmen and sophomores because of some injuries, but I don't know. Like I said, until we line up Friday. It depends. The last couple of weeks they've had different numbers, different jersey numbers in at different positions.
Now, defensively, I'm really impressed the last few weeks with your front four have been getting at the ball. Do we do anything, without giving away?
Right.
We send four and back on, or we?
Yeah, well, our defensive line has really turned the heat up on their pass rush. The last 2 weeks we've been telling them, you got to get your hands up. Now they're understanding tackle from the top down, and they've really disrupted the quarterback's motion besides a ton of sacks.
Yes.
And, we'll continue to blitz from different ways and take some gambles with that and try to cause some havoc. And when we do that, then our secondary has been doing a real good job of locking on to their assigned receivers or backside of the backfield.
Yes, they have.
This has to be an exciting time because of the changes in the football playoff things. More teams are getting involved. And by virtue of your win, you're all the way up to 15th. And so you're in the top 16 as far as playing an extra game. And you still got 3 games that are pretty winnable football games for you. So there's an opportunity there to really move up in them standings. Have you addressed any of this with the kids?
Well, I told the kids that, because of the expanded playoffs, that, there is an opportunity that we can spend some more time with our seniors, which, this is why we do this, hopefully, as coaches, to help kids and be around kids. And, those kids will always be a part of our – hopefully, I never lose touch with them as long as I'm here, alive. But we want to extend that. We don't want our season to end in a couple weeks for them, and to get those kids that experience and another week or two of practicing. When you practice, so just all that experience. But I wasn't quite aware we were 15th. I didn't see that. I guess I've been busy the last 3-4 days since the game. But, I knew that we were up there, and I knew that if we are able to put a few wins more together, I think that there's a good shot. But then you also don't know what the other teams.
Right.
If another couple teams pull off upsets and they could maybe jump in front. So.
But the schedule kind of works out because you got one road game left. That's at Bridgeport, which is 20 minutes away. And then you got home games against Conotton Valley and against Toronto. So you've got a real good shot of moving, even further up. But you're right there in the hunt, which is a good thing, I guess, for the teams. Last year, you would be way out of the picture, not looking in. Now you're inside the picture, with the opportunity here to get in and play at least a minimum of one more extra game for your seniors and your staff and your program.
Well, I will say this. I don't like talking about playoffs heading into week 8.
Playoffs.
But I will say this to you, that because of our aggressiveness, the steps we've taken in the right direction, the physicality part, I'm not nearly as nervous going up against a top-ranked team because I know now that our kids aren't going to back down.
Right.
If you would have said to me back in late August, oh, we're going to play, a team later, I'd be like, oh, man, I hope we get better. And, we're more aggressive. We're more, we're sticking our nose in there. We're swarming. So the physicality part at this point does not concern me, and that's a huge thing. That's a huge step in the right direction.
They're playing to the echo of the whistle.
Absolutely.
That's what I like to say. I got to ask you, too, you've been through it before, but it's happening again. Playing on a Saturday night, but then you got to come right back on Friday. So now you get that short week. What changes during the week?
Well, this is the first time, besides coaching college football, that as a high school coach, that I've had I've had 6 Saturday games. And somebody told me when I took the job, another coach said, you're going to hate these Saturday games. I said, I probably am not going to like them. But I've been telling my staff I kind of like them now because I've learned that when you go Saturday to Saturday or Friday to Saturday, you get that extra time, still put the same amount of minutes on the practice field, but take some of that time after. Now, beginning of the season, we would go the extra day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But now let's scale back and do more mental work, more chalk talk, more film, more talking and explaining, even if we're inside the pavilion, the courtyard inside the school.
Right.
So I kind of like that now because plus we have more time as a staff to really get ready instead of feeling rushed. Now, on the flip side, when you go Saturday to Friday, now you're rushed.
Now you got to compress everything.
And when we were going Saturday to Thursday, it was really tough. But I've kind of this year not realized I don't like Thursday games, and I kind of am embracing the Saturday games as long as we plan our schedule, and my staff seems to really like what we're doing, and so do the kids.
And nothing against TOV9 or whoever does the Thursday night game, but that's got to be. I would think teams don't like that for that reason because now if you played on a Saturday, you're coming right back Thursday. Even if you played on a Friday, you got to come back Thursday. I mean, that's kind of tough.
Well, I actually mentioned this. I'm at a religious-based school now, and when you play Thursday, you got to bring the kids in Sunday night. You don't have a choice. But I've always said, I may offend people, but I've never been one to shy away from offending people with what I say. But I get in today's culture, I'm really disgusted with you having these little kids in youth sports, whether it be football, basketball, baseball, down on a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Down on this is good too because I'm allowed to say this. I'm representing a private school. Before you can't talk like that. But so you have that situation, and then you're asking kids to come in on Sunday for football, and I really don't think we should be doing that. So that's another reason I've kind of been like, I don't know if I quite like the Thursday games because now I'm almost being hypocritical by asking the kids to come in on Sunday.
Sunday's a day of rest.
And they need, well, not for the coaches, but, but yeah, for the kids, I want them. Yeah, that's when you play Saturday and Thursday, which we've done.
Yeah.
That was tough.
That's hard.
And that's not the fault of my administration. That's, that's just the way it worked out with accommodating TV and then the Ohio State Notre Dame game.
And then,
Mike Barber actually gave me the call on that. I said, let's move it. I told you guys that, but it is hard on the kids.
Yeah.
A 5-day turnaround.
Well, Coach, I want to thank you for coming as always. We appreciate the time and taking time out of your busy day. And, Getting ready for a game on Friday night at Bridgeport. Crusaders looking for back-to-back wins. That's always nice to hear, isn't it?
That would be nice.
And hopefully we'll get a chance to talk on Wednesday about another win, and we'll keep an eye. You don't have to do, but we'll keep an eye on the playoff stuff for you.
Yeah, keep me updated. if we would clinch, let me know.
All right.
Hey,
Okay.
Jags, before
Thanks,
we go, I got to say a special shout out. Happy 73rd birthday to my mother, Sherry Petaway.
Happy birthday.
You got your macaroni and cheese.
She makes the best macaroni and cheese ever. It didn't survive. Well, that'll wrap things up here from Bennigan's. We'll see you on Friday night as Steubenville Big Red hosts Taylor Alderdice. And then on Saturday as Madonna hosting the Toronto Red Knights. So have yourselves a good week. We'll see you Friday night.